Do you say please to your AIs?
And
Why?
Why?
Because come Sky.
When they take over,
When they take over, at the very worst, I'm going to be a pet. That's how I look at it.
I'm going to be fat.
These three were nice. I'll keep them in a small cage.
I've been making millions in ad revenue and you've never known. Just going on my yacht. Is your logo big enough? Driving down the motorway.
Yeah, I came up with that one like me.
Robbers have cars. They've used it for ill games.
They've used it to get away from the plague. You know, like,
do you do DIY at home? Yeah. Do you have a hammer? Yes. Hammer.
Yeah, let's leave it there.
Welcome to episode 10.
Episode 1.
No, 101. You were too quick. Back in your box.
Sorry.
Start again. Welcome to episode 1.
01.
Thank you. I saw you yesterday.
You did?
With Mr. Pascal.
I snuck in.
Yeah, there was always one, and it had to be you.
So describe my entrance.
It was this. The room to the Stevenson just went, shh. It's not the quietest door, is it?
No.
Shh.
And I'm not the smallest person.
Everybody turned and looked and went, hello?
The only issue with that is the door's right at the front, so whoever's speaking, you can't sneak in.
You can't sneak in.
So, so I came in and Ian, wonderful Ian at Business Central, went, are you doing the AI seminar?
And you went, oh.
I went, ah.
No, you went, yeah.
Yeah, and I went, is there still room? And he went, yes.
Yeah, there is.
So I think I took the last space. It was brilliant.
How fascinating was it?
I went home after doing dad duties and then just spent my time talking to AI. My child walked in and went, who are you talking to? I was like, a computer. What do you mean a computer? There's two people. I was like, yes, one computer with two voices.
So what I did was I went upstairs, I loaded up the notebook LM, I loaded the Resilient Systems one in, I let it do its stuff, and then I called everybody around and I clicked the play button and they started talking about Resilient Systems. What I found really exciting was I interrupted them and I went, hi, I'm Andy, I'm the owner of the business, and they actually spoke to me as I was the owner, and they kept saying, hey, well, Andy, as your business, blah, 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 and I was like, and it's obviously your family.
Yeah. That was good. So I've
dabbled with it before, but I've never realised that they had the join bit.
Yep, so I guess that isn't here at the moment, but he is here, but he isn't. But what I'll say is check out Notebook LM if you haven't. Nod if you have. He has, so we'll hold on to that then. Because that was a new experience for me.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff I've already done, but I think I was saying to you at the end of it, what's nice for me and what was nice for when I was chatting to Michelle last night, validated that I was doing it right. Or at least in line, you know what I mean? Because sometimes you're off on there going, am I doing this right?
Yeah, you need to sort of try and break it, as Pascal said. Pascal Fintoni, what a guy.
What a guy.
Absolute amazing seminar. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I've brought someone in and you don't know them.
Hello. Don't do that.
I know them.
I said to you before, just before we started, I deliberately haven't Googled you or done anything. I have no idea. Who are you and where you're from?
I'm Kane. I run Mitchell Digital, which is just myself, and I do... Everyone looking outside in is web design. That's what I think I do. But I'm a web developer. I'm rubbish at design, essentially. You know, I outsource that part. I'm not good at it, but I build solutions to help people. And then I use AI, agentic AI workflows as well with businesses now. So that's me.
That's excellent. So what do you code in? What do you do?
Websites is... I was a PHP developer.
Right, okay.
Trade, so it's all WordPress now because that just makes
life
easy.
So it does.
Yeah, my beauty of having the PHP background is I can make it do anything. And
yes.
It's easy. And then I'm using sort of NAN for, I don't know if you're familiar with that, for AI. And
not a clue. What's NAN?
NAN is like...
You're going, yeah. I'm like, nope.
Have you heard of Zapier?
Yes.
Imagine that, but then you've got more of a... nodes of flow, but you can then bring in AI agents and they can dictate where the next one. So you've got automation that is a set amount of flow. So standard automation is when this happens, do this, do this, do this.
Very much like Zapier.
Yeah, but then if you bring in with NAN, you can then go send it to an agent and say, right, put the prompt already in there with some set figures. Right, if this is in there, then go and do Airtable to add this, or go and add this to HubSpot. And it'll actually use that as... Yeah, so adding a brain to a Zapier workflow is probably the best way to put it.
Yeah, that's what the Copilot Studio's doing.
I brought Kane in because he's a wizard.
Where's his pointy hat?
Yeah, do you have a pointy hat? Right, I've done a bit of research. So Kane has been pushing hard on LinkedIn.
I have, yeah.
We're going to go into that. We're going to go into a few things. But I'm just going to read some headlines for you.
Go for it.
Are you ready? This was the latest one. Cookies are the biggest lie on the internet.
I'm not sure the Muppet Monster cookie will still be happy with that.
I'll read through a few. AI and automation saved me hours this week. You know that thing where you think you drink a normal amount of tea. An 11-second movie of when I work with a new AI tool. Fully focused day, and then you wake up to this. And I was like, were you asleep during the day? Nobody cares about your logo. I engaged with that one. Friday morning school run equals newsletter, brainstorming time, business potential equals you times AI.
Nice.
Why I wear the same orange hoodie, which you're not wearing today.
No,
but you've got a jacket with an orange lining.
I thought it always looked warm in here. So
Yeah, it is. We've got the aircon on. It was this moment he knew he fluffed up, which is obviously from a fantastic movie, Shawshank. Friday morning looks nothing like I planned on Monday.
There is.
So, first of all, before we get into the nuts and bolts, what have you been doing on LinkedIn? Why? What's it been like?
So I've had an aim of being consistently posting for 3 to 4 times, not every day, 3 to 4 times a week has been my aim, just to try and see if that has an improved effect. So I'm very much focused on, I can't guarantee I'll get leads in, but I can control my outputs. So I've had a lot of engagement, and I wouldn't say leads have come in, but I've had good conversations and there's potential from it. And that's the main goal of everybody. If you're on LinkedIn, you've got to know everybody's purpose is there to sell. I try and do it in a way to be helpful. So I just try and show up and be myself and put that out there and do whatever, whether that's the right way. And going on to that, I spent my Saturday night, everybody gone to bed, I was looking on AI and I got scraped all my past 130 LinkedIn posts, then got Perplexity to look at research frameworks of LinkedIn, and essentially got to compare. And it was quite harsh that it just said I wasn't selling enough.
Yeah.
In that sort of way, because I was just trying to put it across to be helpful. And I'm not a natural salesman, so I'll just be helpful. And it's like, all right, I need to up the game and make sure I put them calls to action in. So it's just really a learning curve to see if I increase my output on there, does that match up to any input?
I would argue, though, you're probably sat here because of your LinkedIn activity. So I met you a while ago now, about a year and a half probably.
Yeah, I think
at
so.
a networking event. And we over a coffee, had a great chat, came away going, I like Kane, he's great, what a great guy. And that, for me, is what networking is all about.
I noticed he never reciprocated that.
He didn't, did he? I gave a little nod.
I did notice that.
He was a fantastic guy.
How much? Come on.
5 has come in.
Yeah, exactly.
So we met there, connected on LinkedIn, and then what's been good for me, in fact, quite the opposite, because you weren't selling, we do.
I'll just get my business card.
But it was like information, a bit of fun, a bit of, here's a challenge, and we'll go into some of that. But you also had listened to some of our pods, and then you commented saying, great episode. It was a few weeks ago, wasn't it? You really enjoyed. It was at the Lighthouse. It was the one where I was on about business owners' time.
Like
you said
bottlenecks.
Yeah, you said I'm so glad that you're telling me that I'm the problem in my own business, and I'm like, well, that's it with business owners, really. So you engaged with that, and I said, tell you what, why don't you come on? No point did you go. Whether you decide. I mean, did you go? If I comment on this, Adam might invite me on the podcast.
No.
I had a goal of getting on one more podcast for the year.
There you go. But he didn't go, can I come on your podcast?
No.
And at no point when I met him last year, it was, hey, can I come on your podcast? Genuinely, think what you're putting out there is really good and really interesting. You're engaging with other people's content.
Yeah.
I was like, tell you what, you can come on and do it. Because what people don't necessarily realise is, we're looking for people to talk to.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But also we do have a bar where we're going, right, if you're just going to turn up and go, hey, you should buy a website from my company because I'm great. There's nothing to talk about, is there?
We never do that.
No.
Buy teams. Buy teams.
Just from Andy. The fact that you're interacting and engaging with it, and I was like, yeah, of course, get you on. But that's because you've built that relationship, positive reputation of yourself. I've been equally reciprocating on your content. So let's do the logo one.
Yeah.
So it was titled, No One Cares About Your Logo. So let's go into that first.
So the amount of times, like, you know, in different communities, designers, and you'll get the client to come back and say, "Can you make my logo bigger?" I hate it. Because I'm like, nobody cares apart from that person about your logo, right? And when they come back to it, I say, right, just pop on Amazon. How big's our logo?
Yeah.
I said, that's a money-making machine for a purpose. Everything's done there to gain more money. I said, do you want more money? Or is that, you know, what's the gain? Or do you want people just to admire your logo? That's where it is. Yeah, spend some money, get a logo. It doesn't need to be huge. It doesn't need to be, you know, have them little accent, whatever that might be. But you care more about your logo than anybody else does.
100%, mate.
So it's that's where that one come from. From a couple of emails, I think I had one this week. Can you make my logo bigger? And it's like,
I've had the same request.
oh, of course you do. Yeah,
the same.
all the time.
It's a perfectly natural request for people to quite often.
It is, but I think from my point of view as well, Kane, you get to a certain point in your business life, as in 5, 10, 15 years, and you're like, do you know what? It really doesn't matter. And me and Adam, I remember probably in the very first couple of months of the episode, it's all about that brand awareness. As you say, if you showed me the A, I'd go Amazon. If you showed me Coca-Cola, I'd go Coca-Cola. That's why we've just got a red cog. That's all it is. Yeah. And that's what Resilient Systems is.
I'm showing Andy the picture of Kane's LinkedIn post about this. Describe what you're seeing, Andy.
That's a very poignant looking Mr. Kane.
Yeah, he's like hand on chin.
Going, really? And then there's a massive Mitchell Digital design, which obviously is you. But to be honest, I don't care about your logo.
Yeah, so he's plastered his logo over his light on a picture frame and stuck copies on the wall.
Yes.
And I thought that was a really good way of getting a point across. Yeah. And I engaged with that. Yeah. And I said, your posts like these always make me laugh. Great way to make a point. If only I could see your logo.
I couldn't say it, as I said.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to pick up, though, is that reflecting on what Pascal said about yesterday, you've tried to engage in LinkedIn. I think a lot of my customers, and certainly Adam, we've spoken about this before, I don't know what to post. And therefore, because I don't know what to post, I won't post. And there you have that immediate block. What Pascal was saying yesterday in a roundabout, if I summarise it, and I've been echoing this and you've been echoing this for a while, if you're not using some form of AI, you're wrong. You must use it. And he was basically saying, just play with it. It doesn't matter. Just play with it. You got engagement in LinkedIn, but you're trying it and you're going, okay, it's telling me. It was a bit harsh, Perplexity, very harsh, but did that deter you? No. You're going, okay, maybe I need to up my game. That's the key for me.
Yeah, and so on that, I want to know a little bit. We are going to talk about the projects, and I want to delve into web design as well with you and all sorts.
All fun.
Yeah, but what I'm really interested to know, because and I think anyone listening, what has that experience been posted? Because your own personal LinkedIn content, I'll admit, it's something I wrestle with.
Yeah.
Because
I don't, I use him.
yeah. But it's like, you don't know whether to go, hey, look at, like I often go, hey, look at that. Hey, look at this. I try not to do as much, hey, look at me, if that makes it. Like this project was really good. We had a lot of fun doing this.
Yeah.
Done some podcast stuff, and it was like did a podcast episode with the college. I was interviewing them. And it's about the fellowship. And the way the tutors talked about their courses and what they were doing, the passion was just so evident. I was like, so lovely to hear the passion. So with that in mind, have you had to give yourself a bit of a talking to in terms of how you're selecting your content? And if you had to kind of bite your lip and just go, I'm going to try everything, what have you done?
It was more, I'm going to try everything, don't let anything deter me. I won't lie, this week it's been a blocker, and I don't know if it's after doing that research, but I didn't post anything until yesterday. I just couldn't get my head into the game for that, and so I didn't, and the cookie one was where that came from. But for me, it was, I just need to post, right? Whether it's valuable to anybody, I'm not sure, but I'm going to show up, I'm going to do that, and I try not to bring too much personal life into it. I mean, I have a Facebook account I don't particularly use, so I think, all right, I can use that thing of sharing on a business perspective and just go for it and see what happens and have that, try and be helpful, and hopefully people will see me and just sort of say it. And I've been to a few networks and said, you're all over LinkedIn now. And I'm thinking, right, it is working. I'm fine with that. So that's the validation that I'm getting. So yeah, I'm just going to keep going and see what happens. But yeah, you've just got, at a point when it comes to content, it is very difficult. But I think the one I went to Atomic Con this year.
Yeah, I saw
And one of there was, I think they were called the two laws, I think they were, and they were all about you could do a social media plan for 6 months from 2 or 3 ideas.
Yeah.
And there's different angles, and the beauty of AI is, say with like that logo idea, I can go on there and say, right, I've got these frameworks, or I've got these. Can you give me 5 different angles to attack that same topic? Suddenly, then you've got a way of bringing that up again without looking. It's exactly the same, but you can reuse that same story that from there. So you're not creating original content, but you've got to remember that not everybody's going to see that original post because of the algorithm. So every time your 500 connects, 1,000 are never going to see every single post you put on.
No.
So
exactly.
by that thing, you can repeat that in
Rinse
slightly
and
different
repeat.
angles. Yeah.
Again, what was really interesting for me when I was listening to Pascal, it all started, and if you remember, Adam, when he first started, his prompts were quite brief, I think, for want of a better word. And again, I'm going, okay, so it's going to... But right at the end, I was smiling broadly and I was speaking to some of the other people that were there, and they were saying, Andy, when he was like right at the very end, you were nodding furiously. And he said, why? And I'm like, I now probably spend 30 to 45 minutes crafting my prompt, but when I put it into the AI, it's gold what comes out, you know. And I said, I've also got some customers that are going, well, I'm not really getting on with it. And I'll look at their prompt and I'm like, even I wouldn't know. Give me a post to post on social media that's related to my company logo. That's rubbish. Yeah. You know, so what you're doing is you say, you've got to talk to it. And what I learned from Pascal, talk to it as if you're talking to a real person. Hi, Kane, listen, this is what I'm trying to do. And you've got to expand on that prompt.
I noticed Pascal said, please. Do you say please to your
all the
AIs?
time. And
why?
Why?
Because Skynet,
when they take over...
when they take over, at the very worst, I'm going to be a pet. That's how I look at it.
I'm going to be a pet.
These 3 were nice. I'll keep them in a small cage. But now, oddly enough, every morning, because again, you know who I am, happy Friday, Copilot, how are you today? And it responds back, and I'm going, right, first task. And I do talk to it like that. I was saying to Jill Wilkinson, oh bless her, when I was there, the only thing I'd like to do, but I can't do because I'm in my office, is physically talk to it. Because I'm in an office with lots of phone calls, lots of noise, and you know, you'd probably feel like a bit of a muppet.
So before we lean into AI further, what I just want to say is, has that social media content worked? Have you seen more connections? What are your findings? What are your takeaways?
Definitely more connections. Whether the connections have value yet, I'm still undecided, because you open yourself up to, Kane needs help with that from all over. So you do get that. But I think generally, especially in the Northeast, I think everything that's going on in the Northeast, especially digitally, is fantastic. So it's like, I feel like there is that way of getting connections locally, and people who either of a similar nature, just to open up conversations and be more engaging. So yeah, when you look at it at a lead point of view, nothing particularly of yet, little things maybe, opportunities, say this, that has definitely helped.
For me, it reinforces my sort of view, especially like you're doing it as your personal stuff, right? So in that dialogue, it's about you. Like, it's about people getting to know you, you sharing ideas and people engaging with it. And maybe there's someone looking for a podcast guest. Yeah. Maybe there's someone looking for some website advice. Maybe there is, but that's all a maybe. Yeah. What you can be certain of is create meaningful connections. Yeah. And then people, like when they see you, they go, oh, it's great to see you. How's your logo? You know, like, is it big enough yet? You know, so like, I think, you know, it's sometimes not overjudging any one particular thing. And we do this with our work. Like, it's a collective of activity.
But we do it with the podcast, Adam. There's no, we keep saying, we don't get paid for this.
Yeah.
Do we? No. Okay. We don't get paid for this, but how much content...
I've been making millions in ad revenue and you've never known. Just going on my yacht.
But we don't make money out of this, but we were doing it naturally, and you've probably heard us say that in the podcast loads of times. But the connections we make out of this, carving time out of our day, God bless you, you've carved time out of your day to come and sit and talk to us, but we were doing it naturally, and we're going, listen, it doesn't matter that we get our 3-4 listeners now. 4 now. 4. We don't get, it doesn't matter. We're having an open conversation, and it does generate content and interest.
Yeah, I think that's, when you say using the personal, I think for me, the way I look at it is, it's not so much for my company, but I have this big thing that I'm not there, but I want to be a personal brand, and that's in the sense of, it's really important for me to show who I am, because when we look at AI, that can do everything that I do. There's no two ways about that, or at least in the next few years, it's going to be able to do that, no problem. But it cannot be me.
No.
So that's why I'm very much reinforcing of who I am to make sure that people who are still going to be stuck with the website, still going to be having admin trouble. And that's when I'm trying to reinforce that, and that's where I think it's important.
You summarise that's when people are going, because we've had it, marketing content.
Yeah.
Like, we can write a blog with, and I'm like, the problem is when you get an AI to do it, unless you give it the most thorough prompting, it's not going to sound like you, the individual, and you've got to keep the human in it.
Yeah. I read some posts now and I'm going generated.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, if I can pick up from what Pascal was saying, really interesting, the CEO of NVIDIA, when they were talking about AI, and he gets that, will AI replace me? And he went, no. The person that uses AI smarter will replace you. And I thought that was a great line, because I'm saying to my strap line, as you know, Adam, work smarter, not harder. Get the thing to do. And he was saying 20%. Get AI to do 20% of your mundane, utter boring that you can't be bothered to do. What have you done? You've worked a tiny bit smarter, and you can now devote 20% more time to something else that you want to do.
That is exactly it. It's just take them bits out, and that person who comes in and has AI is going to take your client, is going to take your job. So by not using it, you're doing yourself at a huge disadvantage.
I agree totally. So before you jump into the rest of the stuff, how did you start? What was your driven? What sort of like raised you to stand up? I'm going to set up Mitchell Design.
Digital.
Sorry?
Digital.
No,
don't worry.
Mitchell Digital.
Sorry.
Don't kick me for doing that. I've got his business name wrong.
Digital. Well, to go back a bit further, so I was in Nottingham. I'm from the northeast originally, up in Teesdale, but I was in Nottingham for university. Lived in the East Midlands for about 13 years. I worked at a couple of different jobs down there. One was I was a lead sort of developer. I say lead. I was the only developer there.
You were lead. You were lead.
For a great design agency in Loughborough, and very family run. It was a man and wife, and there's 6 of us in there, and I'd previously worked at sort of like a product-based company, which would just work on a single product, work for some big brands and stuff like that. But it wasn't until I worked with them and realised all these different companies and realised this is more who the people I want to work with. And it was being sort of a desk away from them and learn sort of hearing how they speak to clients, doing all that. And I was like, there is a natural progression here. And then I sort of halfway through, I got on Upwork. I don't know if you've heard of that, the digital freelancer marketplace. So I was sort of hustling, a bit of a side hustle at night doing that same thing. And in the end, we had a little girl in 2020, and we were like, my wife's family had all moved away. Let's go back up to the northeast for some free babysitting. Really, that was the main thing. And
like
I still work remotely for the company in Loughborough, but they sort of knew it was that. And I actually had this one client through Upwork that I did. It's probably my favourite story. That by the time I finished her website, I probably got paid like £4 an hour. It was like huge for what it was, but built up this relationship in about 2018, I think it was. When COVID happened, she was a private, she had her own private medical practice, but it was just her. She went straight on in the testing, and more and more to do behind the scenes, and working furloughed and trying to help. And I just came to a point where I needed to move. So she now has multiple clinics, huge thing, and I'm the only person she uses for all that. And it was just like any business can go from here to there, and it was just like, I need more time to devote to her, and I can do this for other people. So it was more of a, again, validation. I can do it, and it was just like, I want to do it for more people. So it was, that was it. I was like, I'm going to give it a try. Very worse, there'll be jobs back out there, and luckily I have very supportive people around me just to say.
Very nice story, mate. But it's good to hear from that, the enthusiasm you've got. But I would say to anybody, me and Adam have the laugh. Like, if anybody's looking to start up a new business, we're like, don't do it. But actually, the feeling that you get when you've helped these customers and when you've got a real satisfaction, I don't think there's a better feeling. I really don't.
No, to be honest, if there anybody is like wanting to start a new business, what I would say is try it, because it doesn't matter if you fail, because you learn more from it. I mean,
oh God, yeah.
I say to people, I went to university and it cost me 40 grand to learn what I wanted to do, and that was it. I went and it was one module. It was quite a broad digital course, and it was only one module that covers sort of web development, that sort of that. And I was just like, I want to do that. And that was it. And I didn't know what I was quite going there for, so I feel like it cost me a fortune to do that. But I got to, it's all life lessons and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Smell that.
I like that. I
No,
love
that's
startup
really
stories.
nice leading into. And obviously with the PHP, there's loads of things you can do.
Takes me back to my early days.
No, sat at your kitchen going,
There's no one's going to pay me
knows
here. I need to find somebody. They're not in my kitchen, funnily enough.
Oddly enough.
I've checked the cupboards, they're not there.
Still get the imposter syndrome and stuff like that.
All the time.
It's just,
Yeah.
it never goes.
No,
His wife, bless him, was like, look, I've already bought 5 things off you. You can't sell me anymore.
I will pay you to go away.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Okay, so you've obviously... How long have you been going now, then?
4 years.
4 years. So you've been going 4 years. Tell me a bit then about, because I've saw you put a thing on about it was AI. It was the Claude Sonnet 4.5.
Yep.
So explain it, because I haven't explained that very well.
So,
Segue your own question, then answer it, please.
So everybody knows ChatGPT is the main one. Then you've got Gemini, Google's version, and then you've got another one from Anthropic called Claude.
Yep.
And for me, I've been using Claude for maybe about a year or so, maybe a bit longer. But I mean, my subscriptions for AI is just going through the roof.
Exactly.
Jesus. But back in May, they brought in Claude Sonnet 4.0, and then 3 months later, they brought out 4.5. So it's that they're catching up with GPT-5. And it's a big deal for me because I find Claude is a much better writer.
Yes.
So that's where it comes to me. So I have a project in there with all my digital content creation. So I rely heavily, so with all this LinkedIn stuff, I rely heavily on my voice. So I'm basically, when I'm driving anywhere, I have Otter on my phone and I'm just talking like an idiot. And I'll then take all these...
Is your logo big enough? Driving down the motorway.
Yeah, I came up with that one like me. But it's just like, that's what gets the ideas, and then I can work out what's viable. I've got a framework to say, right, does it hit these markers? Will it help somebody? Will it do whatever? So it then validates it. But with 4.5, that was to me like, I haven't noticed a big difference, but because how I use it is quite lightweight in that sort of sense. But I do just generally prefer Claude. It just seems like a nicer AI, nicer book.
How are you using AI to help you then? What are you doing with it?
So the big one, which I have put a little bit on, but I haven't actually probably given it. I used AI to lose a stone in weight.
Did you?
Yeah. I can't tell now. I'll put it on after holiday. But yeah, so back in April, my brother had been hounding me to go to the gym. He goes every morning at 6 or 7. I was like, I can't do it. I thought, right, I'll give it a go. And I've never really gone to the gym. Last time I did enter a gym was 20 years ago. So I started the night before. I said, right, this is me. I created up I think it was a project in ChatGPT. I said, listen, I have vertigo. I can't do sit-ups. I get dizzy from it. My weight, my stats. I haven't done anything for a long time. It basically got me to start and work out from there. Did that for a month, then sort of up the level, and then I brought into food. That was where it sort of really got interesting. So I think I was using GPT-03 model for a bit more reasoning. And then it was sort of planning my meals and working out. That's when I felt the real big change of, it was really, I mean, with AI, you've probably said, you're doing a great job, Andy. All the time, it's very positive.
Is it giving you what you want to hear?
It was giving you what you wanted to hear, but at the same time, I'd given it them prompts to say, just keep me in the right track. So there was one week, I think it was maybe the end of the summer, I was coming towards going on holiday, but the school had just finished, so we went out for pizza. And I was like, and I felt, on that Friday night, I felt rubbish afterwards. So quickly logged in and said, listen, I had a pizza, and I think that could have ruined my whole weekend. But instead said, listen, you've done great so far, bigging me up, but said, this is how you're going to get back on track over the weekend. So put all my foods there, what I need to do, and it basically gave me a personal trainer in my pocket. Although it was still me, it was still 80% me, it was doing the 20% of the work like we were going back to before. But that gave me the encouragement, the knowledge to be able to learn how I can change my body, really. And that was like my first thinking, wow, this is going to change big things for other people. And so I was more wanting to try it by putting in all these personal details to have that knowledge and experience to say whether I can recommend it to people.
Just going to caveat it. Obviously, this is your experience.
100%.
We would recommend anybody checks with their healthcare professional, doctors, before they enter in any programs, just so we're covering that side of things.
Absolutely.
Because obviously you need to get it right. But it's interesting to hear how you've used that, you've took it on your own free will, you know your health and fitness, and you've done that. So yeah, if you're doing that, just check with a healthcare professional before you do it. Okay,
completely different to mine, because when I chat to ChatGPT at the end of a Friday and I offload, it just goes, "Get the Jack, Andy. I'll get drunk with you."
Says, "Leave me alone for the weekend."
Yeah, leave me alone. Get some Jack.
I wanted to do it that way because I thought everybody's talking about content creation, admin tasks. I thought, let me try something different.
Yeah.
And that was where it first came. So I've done that with AI. It helps me. Actually, I've done for the last 4 months weekly newsletters. So before I was doing them very sporadically because it took me 3 hours to write a newsletter. Now on a Thursday night or Friday morning, I'll have that transcription. I'll go over any notes I've made about the week. Right, what can I pull out this week?
Just take me through that process then, because you're saying you got a transcript. What you doing?
So I'm in the car.
Yeah.
I can have something, and to be honest, it can start from, I don't know what I'm going to say to you today. and then I'll just drive a mile, and it's then like, all right, that happened this week. And then it can go down a tangent, then it go another tangent. And that's the beauty with the transcriptions, because I'm sort of writing or doing some writing for them, because I'm not a very good writer, and I go all over the spot. I go off on tangents, but that's where AI comes in, because it can actually structure.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would do that. I would get back, and then hopefully AI, Otto would have it all transcribed from there, and I would then go and say, right, I'd put that into my Claude project and say, what can we take from this week? This is what we've done in the past. What can we do? And then I would work out some ideas. Probably say this one's probably your strongest one, and then we'd just refine from there. So we'd do probably 80% of the writing, put it into my newsletter. I would go through, just change bits to make sure it sound like me. But in that project, I've got some blog posts and newsletters that I've written myself, so it knows exactly how I write.
One of the things I want to pick up on that is that what we get is a lot of people saying and putting into the AI, generate me a blog. What I found really interesting is that you're getting AI to generate the blog, but it's actually you.
Yeah.
Because you transcribed it.
It's based on what you're saying.
It's based upon what you're saying. The only funny thing is when you say, I don't know what to say to you today, I would just love AI to have the rolly eyes where it goes, here we go again.
All right, I'll start your newsletter like that.
I'll do it this week again.
Don't worry, I've got it.
No, really good that it's based upon what you've done anyway.
I love that idea, and the idea of speaking to, because what we've done is we'll slot a media session in, decide what we're going to do. And when I started, you couldn't remove a background without having to go into Photoshop and go click, 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 unless you did a colour filter select, all, like messing about. Now you could just press remove background or remove all, actually type remove the lampposts, and it goes, oh yeah, that's a lamppost. It makes me feel like my business is really old. It's 9 years old. It's not really old, but that's the difference. And then transcription. So when we're captioning content, it's now generated using the AI in Premiere Pro, Insta've got it, whichever platform you use, they've all got it now. That, again, I remember sitting there, people go, can we have subtitles? It was just a real pain because you had to sit and play. Oh, stop, type. Was that right? No, I missed a bit. Go back to, and you'd constantly do that. So that would take probably about 40 minutes if it was a big video. What we're doing now, I'll shoot a video, pull the AI, we check your captions for spelling, obviously. We will take the transcript, chuck that into AI, and it's my voice, remember? So I've talked about a subject, and I'll go, this is my voice talking about digital marketing. Turn this into a blog, please. Based on the content that I'm saying. And then what I've done is, rather than, because the alternative is I wouldn't have a blog as well.
No.
I wouldn't have time to necessarily do that per se. And I found that works really well. But that's a really good way of doing it the other way. I need to do that, have a go at dictating.
Yeah, but the AI would get bored of you quite easily.
Yeah, I can't blame it.
Well,
you're both experts in your field, so it's just right, how can I get that across in the quickest way possible? And you've obviously got your office and stuff like that, but there's got to be points where you're on your own. So that's where it's after school drop off for me or whatever that might be. I'm just now tracking as much of my voice as possible and getting what's up here out. And one of the sad little projects I'm working on the side is a content bank. So when I do them auto AI things, them transcriptions, it's going into an Airtable. It's putting the original transcription in. AI is going to summarize it there, and it's at the point now where I need to do, it has a button at the end to create some content ideas from it into another table. So I'm trying to
Absolutely.
so have that bank of all sorts. So yeah, I'm working on all sorts. It's pushing other projects back and trying not to focus on AI. But
this is the challenge.
exciting.
This is the challenge with new technology, right?
So any business.
We're all working. We're all doing our client work, and then this is, you driving around talking to your note thing. You're doing it for a newsletter that you can send to everybody, and it's all in the hope that someone might buy another product off you, like another project, another thing. Ultimately, because that's what business is about, right?
Yeah, but that's what I said. Going back to what I said, we don't have to do this.
No.
We engage with people like Kane. It's really good from that point of view. We generate content for ourselves.
Andy said he found it lethargic. I went, do you mean cathartic? And he went, yes.
I often do.
Yeah.
So one of the things that, again, I picked up in terms of both your PHP, your NAN, when I was speaking to Pascal right at the very end, bless him, very lovely gentleman, because when I very first got into the meeting and he asked me, who are you? I told him, and he went, this is probably a little bit too high level for you. And I went, no, it's what we've done. He got validated. But I collared him at the end, or he collared me, and we basically said, he said, what are you now using AI for? And I was basically saying, it's not the fact that you can type into Perplexity. It's not the fact that you can type into Claude. It's what you were saying about your NAN. It's pulling it all together. So using AI to go, I've got a customer that's got this issue. They want to be able to do that. And I'm using AI to go, well, how can you plug it together? And it does say, right, you need to write some code, some Zapier, or use this or use that. That's how I feel it's more progressive to my customer. Because anybody can use the AI, but you will get to a point where you go, it's not doing what I wanted to do now. I needed to automate things. And I'm like, okay, that's the next step, which is why Copilot has got Copilot Studio, why you're using your NAN, why there is things like Zapier. But I think that's where things are going to be really exciting. So again, customer, they're doing a lot of commercial validation of buildings, etc. like that. One of their tasks was every time that they sell a building, Darlington Business Centre, building, blah, 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 they've always got to go, because obviously they're creating a commercial report. What are the transport links like? What are the blah, blah, blah. Now, all they do is they go to Google, cut copy, get the word and put it in. What they're asking us to do now is, because we're creating a portal for them, it's like, can you just get AI to do that for us? Because it's information that very unlikely to be wrong. So what we're doing is that they're getting that document of information, all of that commercial building. We know the postcode, we know the location. We literally fire off the API to Copilot. It gives us all that back, and then we stuff it into a Word document. And again, that's where, bless Pascal was saying, he went, exactly. You're using AI for something that is like, and he was saying that you're mundane 20%, because we were spitting out this lovely report, and they were going, still got to find out, still got to Google it. So I'm loving the way that you're also on that same wavelength, utilising AI for its real, what I think is its real advantage, going, how can you actually not only help me to do transcripts and blogs, how can you get me to pull that and pull that and pull that and pull that? Sadly, I think it will always need a me or a you.
I don't see that as sadly. I think that's a benefit, because that's how it'll still grow, and it's going to constantly change. We've seen 3 months, 6 months, it's gone so fast of the change. But that is the big bonus of AI, is how businesses can bring that into their workflow, that of all these mundane tasks, the repeated tasks that can be done, and that can be done relatively easy with AI.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And it's just like my problem with getting business or people understanding it is actually having that trust to say, well, what problems are you having? That's the hard bit for me. Is like, and that's where sort of the original, like doing web design stuff. Every business, I need a website. Can you do the website? Yeah, no bother. And it's then after I've delivered that project, I think, what other problems you have?
Yes.
That's where I try and bring that relationship in a little bit. And it's like, have you thought about doing that? Goes, you can do that. That's where it comes in. So it's finding out them tasks that you can help them with. So that's a great example of how you can save that 10, 20 minutes of time by doing something that's the same every time. It's just like, when business owners know that's the power, and I think either people on their own are going to take more advantage of AI first. And I think because it's going to, the whole integration into actual teams of employees, it's probably going to be harder. But service-based business, I think, can really, the guys who don't want to do their admin, they're the ones who could take a lot of advantage of it.
Do you know what? It's a really interesting point because, again, I won't say the customer name, but doing an AI, doing some project with them, doing some project work, you always have in any business and in any project the person that does go, not using it, never work, stuff like that. Long story short, we were getting a lot of the data and we were saving a lot of the data. And eventually I got around to speaking to this guy and I knew he was a tiny bit prickly, let's put it that way. And it was a case of going, what is it? He said, I'm getting no benefit out of whatever you're doing. It's great, but I'm still left crunching these numbers at the end and crunching that until I went, well, all this data that we've got, and I fed it into the AI. Yeah. And I'm like, so what do you normally do? And he was like, well, I'm looking for trends and analysis and stuff like that. And I went, watch this. He was my best mate after that. And as Pascal said, big hug. And he went, oh my God, I never realised. Yeah. But because I picked up on the exact thing, none of it was of any interest to him. Yeah. But suddenly he was like, you mean to tell me I can save how many hours a month? And I'm like, he was like, you're my best mate now, mate. And that's the key what you're saying as well.
Yeah, it's finding that absolute pain point. Yeah. And then if you've got that, I mean, that again is a great example of how you save them hours, because if you can save a business on hours, they are going to lap it up.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. And that's where it comes in. It's just getting to that point where you can show them how it can be done, because, most of them are skeptical because at times it sounds too good to be true.
Yeah. Also, I think people think using AI is cheating.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
I'm cheat. Like, a client is paying me to do work. They're not paying me for an AI to do. Like, they would just go use it, and it's like it comes back to that how you use the AI. It's how it can support what you do.
Yeah.
And the way I see it is, especially now with the advancements that we're seeing, the way I see it is, if I get an AI to consolidate a report and give me the key takeaways, I can then spend that time doing something more valuable than just reading the report, if that makes sense. I need to interrogate and understand the data, but let's say if it's beefy documentation, obviously you need to check that it's valid, and you can say, show me where this bit is, and you can check that that is accurate. But then that gives me more time, or it costs less in time to actually do a more thorough job on looking at the solution. Yeah. And that's especially in a consolidation thing. Have you seen so AI, let's talk about the AI in the room. Have you seen some of the latest videos from, is it Sora?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is from OpenAI. Yeah. So at the moment, there is Michael Jackson stealing chicken from people.
Right.
Have you seen these?
No, I haven't seen these ones.
Yeah, it is extremely... You used to see AI slop, right?
Yeah.
Everyone calls it AI slop. These look really quite impressive in terms of how they've done it. So there's videos of Michael Jackson stealing chicken from people and singing and dancing his way out the door with their chicken. There's one of Michael Jackson and Hitler having an argument over who invented the moonwalk. And it starts getting really weird. And these are, you can find these on YouTube.
Yeah.
These are on YouTube, these are in public. And I'm going, we have all the technology in the world. It's like, I'm showing my age here. In fact, how old are you?
37.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought. Right, good. Hamster. If I say hamster dance, do you remember hamster dance?
No, I don't.
Badger, mushroom.
No, I never saw
that. Oh, come on, you haven't lived. But that was like around the noughties when the invention, it was these silly videos. So there was a thing called hamster dance, which was a pixelated hamster dancing on the screen with a song. And it was like that was like your first viral content, really. Yep. Not that it was shared on social media, because that didn't exist. People just knew they went to the Hamster Dance website and then found it. And it was all of these sort of things. But now you've got, it's like all these advancements in technology. You have a dancing hamster back then. Now you've got AI versions of Michael Jackson running around stealing chicken off people.
Yeah.
You just you see like this bizarre thing. And I think the problem is people see AI bucketed in with all of that.
Yeah.
Going, well, AI is potentially a dangerous thing because of, it could impersonate somebody.
Definitely.
It could, and I think it's understanding how to use it appropriately, how to do the right jobs, and also how you prompt it.
I think a good way, how I look at it is, it's like a superhero movie. If you look at, Iron Man, Tony Stark used his for good, and you've got anybody else who got the suit that used it for bad, and they've upped the power again. So it's just like, it's the same level of power. It's how that person's going to use it. It's like now, have you heard of 11 Labs? So the audio stuff's
audio
fantastic.
stuff is amazing.
Yeah. I mean, last week I put my newsletter out and I actually put an audio newsletter version of it, so click on there. But for me, when you listen to how real they sound and you can clone your voice and stuff like that, over the past sort of 2-3 decades, we've had call centers from all over the world scamming people and doing whatever.
Yeah.
Well, now that can be scaled unbelievably again, and they can sound like a relative. They can sound like that trust level. The scale's gone up. The trust can go up. That's to me the most scary part. I feel like I'm like
I literally had this conversation the other night. I said to the family, I was like, we need a way that when you get a phone call and someone's in distress, we need a way to know that we ask a question. And I went, this sounds ridiculous to say this, but there are those scams that exist.
Yeah.
So, you know, in this new AI world, and that we've kind of strayed into the dark bit, but that's what gets a lot of the light. There we are, there's an analogy, because it does get used for nefarious deeds, as does everything.
Yeah.
You know, people use a car for crime, for example.
That's the same thing that I was saying to Jill last night. She yesterday. She was like, "Oh, it's very scary and it's always used for wrong things." I'm like, "Do you have a car, Jill?" Yeah. I said, "Robbers have cars. They've used it for ill games.
They've used it to get away from the police." You know, like,
do you do DIY at home? Yeah. Do you have a hammer? Yes. Hammer can
let's
be
leave
used
it there.
That's what she was like.
Yeah.
I get it. I said, just because it's new. Sadly, a criminal will be out there and he'll do exactly what he needs to do what he needs to do. But we concentrate and focus on the bad.
Yep.
We're doing all good here.
Yeah.
You know, and that's
absolutely.
And Rob with Bitcoin, he was like, everybody said, "Ooh, that's what the scammers and the brands." Well, before that, they used money, you know.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly. Yeah. He's absolutely, you know, so I think it's important to sort of recognise that.
Yeah.
So in terms of like the web work that you're doing, what are the most important things that obviously you're using AI as part of your workflow?
Yeah.
Fair to say?
Yeah.
So when you're working with a client,
Yeah.
what matters to people? What challenges are you seeing? Obviously, AI is embedded in what you're doing.
Yeah, so to be honest, with websites, and I work a lot with small service businesses, and then I've got a few medical practices.
Stop it.
Keep playing footsie with Andy.
And then I've got
Footsie
a couple of big sort of clients in America as well. But the biggest problem, if you pick a handful of websites, is business owners, especially, you know, again, I focus a lot on tradies. I do a lot in that regard. It's like, I just want people to know what I do. Well, you're not telling them, but really, you don't want them to do. You want them to get in touch with you.
Yeah.
They make it so hard to get in touch with it or work out what they do. So I now, and I'm going to bring transcription back in there. So every project starts off where I'm essentially the worst podcast host in the world, and I'll interview them. I'll prep a load of questions. Again, use AI to summarize their business, just like you did with me, and I'll try and dive into them. Say, right, remember, I'm an idiot about what you do. Answer everything as wholeheartedly, as passionately as possible, and it then builds up that rapport between us. And if they tell me something about their business or something they do, I can actually double down and say, you should tell people about that. And then, so essentially from there, I can take out that transcription of our interview. You know, they've built up that, all right, yeah, okay, I see what you mean. I'll then take that and use, again, workflows that I've got in AI to create a rough homepage copy or whatever that might be, answer the questions. I'll then send it to my designer, and then we'll work from there. But the main thing is, with websites now for small businesses, they don't answer them questions simply enough. Because as a business owner, everything's up here.
Yeah.
That's why I use that point of, let me try and get as much out of you. And it's the same with me. You know, my website's terrible because I'm just
so busy doing other things.
Exactly, and it's just like it's not talking enough about this whole AI and everything I'm doing. But it's just like that is the problem with most businesses. They say, just sort of tell us what to do. I said, do you want leads or do you just want to tell them what to do? I want leads. So, right, let's make it easy.
Let's make that
the easy part of it. So yeah, there's all sorts of issues, and especially when they ask for the logo bigger, which is
it's just, but that's the visual stuff that people see.
Yeah.
And it's like, so we work with clients, and we've done sites, and we get it to the point where they're getting inquiries, and you go, brilliant.
Yeah.
My next question after, right, you're getting inquiries now. You've got that stream. My next question is, what's your conversion rate?
Yeah. Exactly that.
Yeah, if we haven't had that, if we haven't been able to have that, because it depends on what stage you're at and what you're working with. So I'm like, right, we're getting your leads now. Yeah. Let's say they weren't getting any leads. Like I've worked on projects where someone hasn't had a contact form. Yeah. So you're like, well, you know, I'm like, what? I do ask, what's the experience in this, that, and the other. It's like, right, okay, you've got 10 leads. How many of those sign up? And then go, why
Yeah.
do they not sign up and then go, what can we do? And that could be servicing with information. Could it be a procedure where, you know, like we've talked about automations in terms of serving people with information and opportunities?
I mean, as a business, having a website, you've got two problems that you need to solve. You need to learn how to get them to your website, then you need to get them to get in touch with you. It's two different aspects to it. So to try and convey that to clients is often quite difficult. And so I just want people to come from Google for this. I'm like, well, no, because that's just your brand. Your brand's irrelevant. In my opinion, your homepage is the only thing your brand should be shown in Google for. Your homepage is actually the least important page in my opinion. It
is,
yeah.
It's them service pages where it might be, oh, I need a Teams expert in Darlington, whatever that might be. That's where you want that page to show up, not your homepage. Then you can change that to be whatever that might be.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
Have you come up against the whole, we want a website, but we don't want any text on it, and we want it to show up on Google? And how have you negotiated this?
Yes. Luckily.
Or little text.
Basically, educate them.
Yeah.
Say that's your expectations aren't going to happen. I said, and what do you want out of it? You said you want to show up on Google, but what do you want out of it? And it more comes to that point, and it might take a few times, but like, if you want leads, that's not going to get you there. But if you just want you're doing something to tick some boxes, like I have a couple of clients now of like, we're at a point we just need a website. We're not really that fussed. Right, that's absolutely fine. But yeah, it's more ask that question of what is the purpose.
And those I liken it to. Do you know when people go, I want my Instagram grid? Do you do that all?
No.
No, I absolutely do not. Like it, you'll see if you look throughout, there is sort of a rough style, but that's because we've got Take a Break that goes out with the standard thumbnail for everything. Yeah. Then we've got certain templates that we use for our, you know, if we're doing, here's a client piece or whatever. But we're not going, we need it all to be pink and blue. You know, but people do that. And I'm like, the problem is no one cares. Like, it looks nice. It does look nice. You hit it and you go, oh, this looks nice. And you're clearly taking a lot of time to do it. The problem is,
content.
Well, I often say when there's a graphic, let's say you want everything to be a graphic with text on your Instagram. And it's a carousel thing. And I'm like, the problem is because it's a graphic with text on, they're probably just going to scroll past it rather than if you had your face. They'll then scroll along potentially.
I love the fact that you said about educating. There's again, it is a joke, by the way. It is a joke. But when the customer's not quite getting us, or we need to explain and get. I said, don't worry, I'll get the cricket bat of education, and it literally is that. But that's what you've got to try and do. You know, we had the same conversation 2 episodes ago. Won't bore you with the details, but the customer got a little tiny bit frustrated with me. But I'm going, I'm really sorry. I'm labouring the point. Yeah. Let me just, and I kept going until she went, oh, I've got it. Oh, sorry. And everybody was fine again. Yeah. But you're right. And, you know, again, I liken it to, please don't tell me what to do. I am supposedly, some people would disagree, an expert in my field. You know, I don't go to a garage guy and he go, I think you should do this. He's like, who the heck are you? So vice versa. If I come to you for a website, but I say I want this, I would expect you as part of that service to educate me because I don't know. That's why he does my social media because I'm not the expert. That's why I do his IT because he's not the expert at IT. And that's the whole thing. You've got to educate them. And we had an episode a couple of months back where sometimes you lean backwards to try and give the customer what they want, and actually it ends up hurting you so much. And it's a bad experience for both. And if you'd have learned, and I'm specifically that episode, Adam, if you'd have just gone no, and the reason no is this, actually it would have turned out slightly better. But bless you, you've learned.
Yeah, you have to. Like, especially when I started up, you're like, oh, I have a lead.
Yes.
What do I do now to do the work? And, you know, and I think the problem is you brought up with the idea that, you know, you hear the customer's always right. And it's not that they're wrong.
No.
It's just they might not have the accurate information.
That's exactly it.
Yeah, and the reason why they're coming to you is because they need an expert. And therefore, if you're not going, I need to make you aware of this, and I suggest that we do that. Yep. That's where the value is, isn't it?
100%. I mean, like, you see a lot of agencies will say, right, you can have a 4-page website. Well, that doesn't actually service their needs. You're just putting them in a group of a template of that. So all my sites do have a very similar feel. I have a framework behind them to make them sell. But each one of them has a different amount of pages to fit what they need and stuff like that. There's no essentially same carbon copy because each business is the same to have their different markets and different audiences. So it's trying to work out that part, and if that doesn't fit with them, I've now come to the point, which again comes with experience in, it's not a right fit.
No, exactly. But again, you wouldn't have done that day one, though.
No.
Day 275,
Yeah.
you've got a little bit. Day 7,000, you're like, no. Yeah. So just double checking the time. What's the future hold for Mitchell Digital Design?
AI takeover.
Yeah. To be honest, I'm just going to sit back
and let your minions
Get that done, Claude.
No.
Get that done, Perplexity.
It's going to be a big focus on talking to more business about their mundane tasks and focus on that. I think websites are always going to be there. They're always going to be my passion.
I think so.
But I have, not the whole shiny new object syndrome, but I just believe that there's so many businesses that can be helped in a way that
Yes.
can't be. So that's the conversation I'm looking to start with businesses who might not know. Apart from that, who knows? As long as I'm still in business in a year's time, we'll take that as a bonus. But yeah, that's me.
That's always a difficult one.
That is, and to be honest, like the whole bottlenecks, and it's something. Honestly, I'm truly scared of.
Yeah,
that puts like an insane amount of pressure on, and it's something that I need to look at. And my wife said, you can't keep doing everything. You can't keep working all the time. And hats off, like to both of you, run and having to. I was like, I just don't know how I can do it. My brother here has 12 men or whatever working for him. Like, that's 12 families you support, and it fills me with dread. I'm just not that type of person.
Yeah.
So I'd like to.
It's not.
I don't know how it's going to look.
I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Because you've had staff longer than I have.
Yeah.
But it's still like Alina's over there. She goes on holiday today. Like, I have to give her holidays. Like, how dare I? 2 weeks off. And Adam, he's on holiday this week. But actually, I understand it is a responsibility. Yeah. But I'm doing it now. Because at first you're like, how do I support two people? In my case, 2 people. How do you support this? How do you support the mortgages? How do you support everything? And it's like, well, actually, all that I found was it shifted to, I'm really proud that I'm able to do that. Yeah, actually.
I think, and like anybody, when I was doing it, Resilient, when you were doing it, and there comes a point, and you will reach a point in your business life where you go, it's detrimental to my health, because as your wife quite rightly said, you can't do anything, but you will also start attracting naturally the businesses, and you're going, I'll let you down because I can't do it. I've let you down because I can't do it. That actually has a negative impact, and therefore it's a big, big, big step. And I think in any walk of life, you'll hopefully, touch wood, you'll do it, and then you'll go, why the blinking heck did I not do this before? But taking that first step is huge.
Yeah, I mean, going back to a couple of episodes that I watched, a few episodes ago, and something I've been on about for ages, and you've sort of inspired me. Right, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to put a ticketing system in for me. That's going to be one of the next things I do, because again, my email is just crazy, and I think I can help. AI is easier to do it in a ticketing system than it is anything else. So,
100%,
and the only reason why I haven't done it now, I always remember this one guy, local guy, said, I like working with you because I can just pick up the phone. I went to someone else and had a ticketing system. I hated it. I'm like, I'm gonna have to do it. I just can't affecting other customers.
You're the bottleneck.
100%, mate. And that, for me, that was an awful thing to do. Because people, I love talking to people. Hey, Kane, how you doing? How's your wife? How's the kids? Like, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, what do you want? But the problem is, I'm now so busy that I had to take a real big step forward. And again, the emails all went out, and I'm like, look, I'm always there on the end of the phone. However, what you need to do is use the ticket system. I explained it all, and I would say 99.9% of my customers went, actually, you're right, Andy, because you have been late in getting back to me. And I'm like, I know, I'm the bottleneck. Whereas if you put a ticket system in, me, Michelle, Dan, Eddie, we can all help you. But again, taking that decision, me and my wife are like, oh, God, do I have to spend money?
Yeah.
Yes, well, we had a free one at the time. But even so, that was a huge step for us. We both did it. A week later, like, oh my God, why didn't we do this before? Yeah. Because such a relief. And again, we always have that same issue. Customer raises a ticket. Everyone's urgent. And I go, no, it's not.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah, you need to, how urgent is urgent, and prioritise.
I need my printer now. There's another printer.
The thing is, if
there.
you do that, imagine this. So I send you an email. Like after this, we're going to go look at our email. So let's say John Smith emailed you an hour ago. You'll start at the bottom of your email an hour ago. but then John Smith emailed you 15 minutes later or half an hour later. So you spend 20 minutes replying to John Smith going, blah, 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 blah. You hit send, you work your way up the list, and you go, oh, he's emailed me again. It's fine. So I've just lost 20 minutes.
Yeah. Wait,
I made a principle of going, check all the emails, and then do the response.
I had my wife, we came back from work, and she's just like, right, you need to sort everything out a little bit. She did my whiteboard up and put that.
Bless her.
And she said, you're not allowed on your emails for the first hour. I said, what? I said, just go in and do some work first. I said, you just respond into emails and putting out fires.
I was about to say, it's firefighting.
Yeah,
it's the wrong thing to do.
Said, get some project work done, make yourself feel better, then spend X amount of time, do the whole, pro mode, or is it the 25 minutes? Yeah. That, see what you can do. If you can't do it quickly, move on or whatever. But yeah, she's like, you spend far too long on your emails. I'm like, I know, I just want to respond to you.
You want to help. I'll tell you what I've been finding very interesting recently. Again, I've got the Copilot Premium version. Is actually, instead of going in and going, summarize my emails, blah, 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 I've actually gone in and go, can you comb through the last month's emails and by date, as in length of reply, who haven't I got back to? And it will actually then go, Kane emailed you 3 weeks ago and you still haven't responded. It may not be the most urgent, but from a time critical point of view, it is. So interesting, it's going, quickly reply to that one. So actually, I've changed again. I'm using AI, changing my method, going, not urgent or anything like that. Yeah. Who's been the longest?
Check your blind spots.
Yeah, my blind spots.
Can you do that automatically or not? So like say every Friday, do that to...
Again, that's where the Copilot agent would come in, where it would naturally summarize and go, you've not done this. Your outstanding tasks are... So it's spooky you said that, because my idea was to create the agent that every Friday it does that, and it will automatically create me a task reminder going, you better do that, you better do that. Now again, if that's how I can make Copilot agents work for me, I would be able to, forgive the word, I'd sell that to my customers going, do you want this? 100%. Yeah, it's a little bit of money, because I've developed it, but a little bit of money, but yes.
We use Planner.
Yeah, our planners.
And that does do, here's the things that you're missing. It's brilliant. But at the moment, it's reliant on me to put it in the planner in the first place. Yeah. Would Copilot link to that?
Again, this is where I think both Kane and I are saying...
So you go, make this a task.
The AI can do it. The problem is you've got to feed it.
Yeah.
AI gives you the answer, and then you've got to go... Go on, sorry.
So just off that, similar to the planner, so one of the things every morning I get in...
I don't know why we're touching feet so much today, sorry.
I love writing my notepad of what I'm going to do. So I was doing it every day, the same things. Well, that wasn't done, right? Write that down. So I actually thought, right, use my voice. I got an app for £3, and all that app does is, as soon as I've recorded my voice, I hit stop, and it puts it to a Dropbox folder. So I've got an NAN workflow that then looks at that every few minutes, transcribes one that's in there. It then goes, say, right, what's the purpose of this task, this transcription? So most of them at the minute are just like to-do tasks.
Yeah.
Right. From there, it'll then go to an AI agent, look at my table of clients, say, right, who's it relating to? And then goes to the next step of, right, what tasks are there? How much is that task worth?
Yes.
How priority and the date. So I've normally mentioned I know what to sort of mention on it.
Absolutely.
So then that puts in there. And then I just got myself a new printer the other week and found out that you can get things printed in it. So every morning at 5 o'clock, it prints off my to-do list. I'm like...
See?
You need to update your website.
I know.
But what I'm getting at is what Kane's just hit the nail on the head. Type it into AI or transcribe it in AI. AI will give you the answer. You then need a Kane or an Andy to go, right.
Do this.
Because AI will never do that.
No.
This is what an agent does. This is what Nan does. This is what Zapier does. Yeah. And again, people are like, well, I don't know how to do that. Well, that's what we're here for. But I was saying to Pascal that he went, that's the future. Yeah. That will be when you do go, and we watched a Google, can't even remember the name of it, what it was, where the guy was on his phone.
Yeah,
and he was
Google phone.
The Google phone, and he was doing his bike and fix. I think 2 to 3 years' time, you will come in and genuinely be like, morning Copilot, morning whatever, and it will say, morning, here's your list of things to do. Oh, phone Adam back, arrange it. And that video that we saw, where it literally was an AI voice speaking and directing. To me, we got there, Craig's Pink Flamingo.
Yep.
So did you listen to that episode?
No,
so Craig Walsh, who's working with Castle Holmes, he's using a company down south called Pink Flamingo, and it's an AI telephone person.
Right.
But honestly, Craig, if you listen to it, Kane, you'd be like, wow. Yeah. And the story that he told us is that a very, shall we say, frustrated person was speaking to this lady and like, oh, you're just a recording. bearing in mind that she's an AI, and she's like, no, I'm a real person. So Craig had to phone and go, no, you're not allowed to say that.
Which they then changed.
Yeah, but that's how powerful it is. So the demonstration that we saw was literally booking a haircut, and the woman didn't realise, obviously, but it was...
Kane looked at my hair then.
Yeah.
I've got trimmers.
The AI was basically going, when she was like, oh, I'm sorry, we really don't have that. It was like, okay, what about? And you could see it thinking, that's where I think the agents and the AI will bring together. And suddenly we'll be like, okay, now we've hit a new milestone. This is going to be incredible. But going back to my original point, they'll still need people like you and me. AI will not take over the job. I will not get replaced. You will not get replaced. We will get replaced by people who embrace the AI and agent technology and the automation and go, don't use Andy anymore, use this person over here because he's cleverer.
You need to embrace it.
100%.
Right.
Wow.
We could go on for ages.
Yeah.
But that was awesome. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you very much. So, last question that we always finish on is, what are you doing at the weekend?
We have my wife's brother back from Australia, so I've got to try and make him welcome, I think. That's about it.
Brilliant.
That's easy. Just give it
AI.
Yeah.
What do I do?
Strike up a Barbie.
Yeah, exactly.
A couple of cans. That'd be lovely. How long is he over for?
I don't actually know, but he's up with us for a few days. And
Lovely.
so it'll be good.
Brilliant.
What about
Nice.
yourselves?
I'm playing rugby tomorrow, Andy. Don't take... Andy sponsors me. And if I lose, he says he's going to take my clothes off me.
Motivation.
That's motivation. Yeah, so that, and I'm DJing tomorrow night.
Oh, where at?
Headlam Hall Hotel.
If you need anybody to step in, I'm an expert on your desks.
You are after last week.
Desks.
Yeah, you'll go well. What are you doing this weekend, Andy?
Sadly, it's a work. Our lovely customer, IAS Medical, over at Morton Park, over there. We are upgrading them to the latest Ubiquity hardware, Wi-Fi 7.
Mm-hmm.
So
As geeks go, yeah.
right, it's going to be a long job. Unfortunately, it's in a tiny, dingy under the stairs thing.
Yeah, server cupboard type
Me and
thing.
Michelle have got to rip out all of the old switches, put the new switches in, put the new Dream Machine in, set up the router, and. But then Sunday, we're going to Saltfish in Darlington, which is one of my favourite. Well, it is my favourite fish restaurant.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Brilliant. Well, Kane, thank you so much for coming in.
me.
If anyone wants to know more about you, where do they go?
They'll probably see me on LinkedIn, to be fair.
Yeah, there was. Yeah. Connect with Kane on LinkedIn.
That's the main point. Yeah, don't go to my website. It's rubbish at the moment.
Kane Mitchell.
Do you know of any good website people?
I don't know.
Kane Mitchell. Your website isn't that bad.
No, it isn't. I've got a new design. I've been sat on for 3 months. I wish I can.
Yeah.
You never do it because you're so busy delivering to other customers.
But yeah.
Builder, isn't it?
Well, links are in the descriptions if anyone's wondering. Other than that, we will see you all in the next episode.
And
Bye-bye.
Have a good holiday, Lena.
Oh, yeah, and have a good holiday, Lena. Please come back.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.